Welcome to another edition of the Heezy Hoopcast, NBA playoff shit talk powered by AnimalHeezy.com. Please visit AnimalHeezy.com at your earliest convenience and check out that new Paco Cinco de Mayo EP, Addicted to Epic. Nigga, you can't spell epic without EP, and you can't spell EP without being tempted to throw the IC and making shit epic and shit. So, yeah, please at your earliest convenience visit AnimalHeezy.com and pick up that new Pistol Paco 5-song EP. A couple joints I produced on there, a couple joints I didn't produce. Got Paco all over that motherfucker. Hollywood Spit on that motherfucker. My favorite song on there is a song with Hollywood Spitter, a song called He Say, She Say. So acquaint yourself with that as soon as you possibly can, as soon as you humanly can. And at this time, like I always like to do, I gotta give a shout out, memorial shout out to my OG, Big Homie Kahuna, and my guy Reiju Goku. Rest in peace forever, man. We putting on every day for y'all. But yeah, I just got done watching Warriors complete their sweep of the Raptors. I at least said 6 games, and I was just being lenient. Lenient not because I don't believe in the Raptors, but lenient because this half of Raptors versus Cavs is probably the first half of Raptors basketball I've seen all season. To be honest, I confess my sins. It is Sunday. But I don't know if it's cool for me to have a podcast, a hoopcast, and then admit that, you know, that's the first half of Raptors basketball I've seen, but they just got swept. I mean, shit, I ain't miss shit. But you know, I just tuned in because the NBA product's still good enough in the playoffs to where, you know, it still held my attention for a half. So, on to a way more entertaining game and just as unimportant of a series. I watched that Warriors Jazz last night, and that was a good game. You know what I'm saying? I said on my guy R. Hunter Jr.'s Surround Sound podcast, God bless the Jazz if they win one game. Well, I said win more than one game, you know, because I'm giving them one, but I'm not expecting much out of this shit, but only because it's the Warriors juggernaut we talking about. But my God, the Jazz put up a valiant effort. This was thoroughly enjoyable. I ended up watching this shit thinking, why have I not seen the Jazz play yet? Why haven't I seen them play if they playing like this? And then somewhere in the first or second quarter, I can't really remember, they went to the stat about how many minutes. I think it was 108 minutes straight in series time that Golden State had held the lead. And I think with a minute left to go in the second quarter, they said the Jazz have just gained their first lead of the series in game 3. You have not led. You have been, you know, fighting from behind for 8 quarters of basketball. And I'm like, oh, that must be why I haven't watched enough of the Jazz. But nah, this is a really entertaining team. This is a really good, well-constructed team. I like the whole Jazz rebrand. If I could go a little bit off the rails right now, of course I can. It's my shit. But I like the whole rebrand of the Jazz and everything because when Darren Williams was there and they were still rocking the purple and then they were still trying to do the green and purple thing, the Jazz was one of my least favorite teams. But since the new Gordon Hayward regime has become a thing, and it's like I hope he doesn't leave, but I kind of hope he does leave because he's almost too good of a player to be in Utah, but this team is good enough to make me want to see shit grow around him. But the new court, the new logos, the new jerseys, I'm fucking with it hard. The blue Utah Jazz jerseys currently that I think they either been on just starting this season or maybe going back to last season at the latest. And the green alternate jumps, whew, on fire, man. And I don't know if niggas know, but I'm a nigga that love his jerseys and shit. So them motherfuckers on fire. So the whole rebrand has made it possible for me to watch the Jazz again. And shit, I mean, from what I understand, this is the first game of the series I've seen, Game 3. Steph Curry had left Gobert on some super duper skates, and Gobert came back this game trying to put some emphasis on some shit. You know what I'm saying? He was out there playing like a grown ass man, and whoever say that the old niggas be saying the game is too soft now, too friendly, not chippy enough, and these players don't play like grown men, which, you know, to a certain extent I could kind of see it, but that's because you don't watch teams like Utah Jazz all season, and you don't see a nigga like Gobert, and you don't see a nigga like Gobert with something to prove, like after he got shook the fuck up by Steph Curry, and he came out, chip on his shoulder, like, y'all got me so fucked up. And he a young nigga, so I appreciate that whole you got me fucked up stivity he got in his heart that he could capitalize on. He was out there catching lobs, dunking on niggas, shaking the rim, shook the rim about 4-5 times. They never called a tech. I like the way, you know, I don't know, it was lightweight deserving of a tech, but I like the way that they let that nigga cook at home and shit. But yeah, nigga out there not just, you know, catching lobs and shit, shaking the rim and all that shit, out there blocking shots. In crunch time, shit was getting real. Seen that nigga throw a nigga to the ground in the paint and shit. I'm like, oh man, this young nigga a monster. Like, this nigga is really finna redeem himself. Like, y'all got him fucked up, win, lose, or draw. And then it happened. He was, I guess, I don't want to call it a back and forth, but you know how one nigga hit a nigga at one end, hit a nigga with a move, or bust a nigga ass on one end of the floor, and somebody come down, bust their ass on the other end of the floor. Him and KD kind of got that type of dynamic going, and as he tried to redeem himself from getting shook the previous game, KD done rocked him to sleep, hit the jumper on him. Then Steph didn't quite rock him the same way, but, you know, a couple minutes later, he ended up hitting him with the meanest step back ever and nailing the three. And I was like, ooh, yeah. Gobert, we back at Lil Rudy, we back at still one, my nigga. I'm so sorry. Then him and KD got into it. KD called that nigga pussy nigga, fuck nigga, get your fucking hands off me. And yo, another reason why the NBA is the greatest product on TV, nigga, when them obscenities get to flying, yo, the replay niggas, in especially in playoff basketball, be sure that they play that shit back in slow-mo. What a nigga said, all I heard was, I didn't hear it, but you just hear Kevin Durant, pussy nigga, pussy ass nigga. And they effectively letting them curse. You can't hear it, but you know what they say. I mean, we're all adults here. You can't insult our intelligence. We know, we clearly see what they saying, and somebody's clearly replaying this shit. And that's another reason why the NBA product, the hottest sports product on TV, damn near the hottest product on TV. Cause they let shit slide like that in sporting events where it's the ultimate meritocracy and sportsmanship is paramount. And, you know, for a whole sports ecosystem that claims to not like this shit in basketball, NBA slides that shit in more than anybody. I think the only thing that tops that is the fact that the NHL and hockey lets niggas fight and just let you sit in a box about it. No suspension. Let you sit in a box about it and collect your thoughts and get your shit together and think about what you did. But, yeah, man, that's why I haven't seen the Jazz play. Shout out to Joe Ingles on the Jazz, man. I ain't never seen a rusty looking white boy cook niggas like that. It's real interesting to watch him cook niggas. I saw that nigga like demand a repost from the fucking 3-point line and shit. I can't remember who he was cooking. I think it was like Zaza Pachulia or some shit. But sized up Zaza, kicked the ball back out, demanded that bitch again from the 3-point line, and cooked that nigga. And, you know, as the white boys like to say, deadly three-point shooter. Or the white boys, they be commentating, of course. Shout out to Mark Jackson, Jeff Van Gundy, who was commentating this game, man. Jeff Van Gundy is always motherfucking gold. Shout out to David Fizdale, aka Coach Grisdale, who been on NBA Countdown on the halftime shit these past couple games, particularly Warriors Jazz, where he was kicking that shit and seemed way more relaxed. He acted like he was on the He's a Who cast the way he was talking this shit. This was no press conference vernacular. I feel like we got the real Coach Grisdale straight kicking it. And hey, Coach Grisdale, if you happen to hear this, bro, you are invited to the He's a Who cast anytime, anywhere, nigga. We will make it happen. Please, God. But he said something interesting too when Draymond got to showing his ass like Draymond does, Draymond things. And Draymond went to the crowd when he caught the technical and I thought he caught about 3 technicals. He only ended up with 1. But, you know, I be high watching this shit. And Draymond goes to the bench and gets to arguing with some fans and shit and holds up two shit. We two shitting y'all. You know what I'm saying? If y'all ain't familiar with what that means, two shit is like we are up 2 games to nothing in this series of the playoffs. And taunting the fans with that shit. And, you know, even though Golden State in all likelihood will win this series, Coach Grisdale didn't appreciate that shit and had the quote of the night, notwithstanding any Jeff Van Gundy quotes that I couldn't remember. He said to Draymond about that, gotta be careful. Don't disrespect the game. Don't disrespect the game like that, or the game will disrespect you. And Draymond Green, you've seen the game disrespect you, you know what I'm saying? But anywho, JaVale McGee, before this shit ends, nigga, I gotta get on your ass because you were the nigga that robbed us of your Shaqtin' the Fool appearances, and we had another Shaqtin' moment that we will again be robbed of because this sensitive ass nigga did not have the wherewithal to withstand it being put in his face. These goofy ass bloopers that he himself concocts. He does the shit, somehow got mad about it. And he had a moment, I think Steph threw him a lob, and he tried to, you know, Steph teardrop floater, lay it in off the lob, and airballed that shit. And I was like, yup, that's a Shaq moment. You robbed us, nigga. You robbed us. But when Shaq said he ain't gonna feature you no more again, hey, the onus is placed completely on you. And every time some shit happen like that, we think about it. And we think about the fact that we can't see it on Shaqtin' the Fool no more because of you. But anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up. KD. Woo! KD a motherfucker with Golden State, bruh. That Draymond Green is that hard work, blue collar money. KD is that easy money, and what he's able to do in the Warriors offense, I see why he left OKC. And no, this is not at all any type of Russell bashing that's about to start here. Nigga, the nigga on this team with Clay, with Steph, with Draymond is still probably the most important player on the team and gets so many easy looks that is just easy money for this nigga. The matchup nightmare when they got him out there playing the 4 in some positionless basketball shit and you can't cover him. I mean, that's just easy money on top of the 3 ball. Like, oh my God. I mean, look, Golden State has some interesting fucking lineups. They run lineups with no point guard at all. They run lineups with no center. Damn near no true power forward at all. Man, concept basketball, but they always know where everybody is at any given time. Whew, this was an interesting game. This was I don't know how interesting of a series this will be overall, but shout out to Utah for the valiant effort and shit. Shout out to Gordon Hayward. Shout out to Boris Diaw. Shout out to ISO Joe Johnson. And my nigga grown man Gobert. But the Warriors juggernaut strikes again. AnimalHeats.com picked up that Addicted to Epic pocket.